Astrology isn't just about signs and symbols. It's a tool for navigating real life. Hello, and welcome to Astrology with Elisa. I'm your host, Elisa Dixon, and I'm so glad you're here. Let's dive in. Hello, and welcome. We are doing something a little bit different today on the podcast. This is Elisa Dixon, as usual, and I am starting something new in 2026. I will still be doing my weekly podcast every Wednesday, but occasionally I'll be bringing on somebody to talk about a cool astrological topic in a little bit more detail. And today I have my first guest with me. Her name is Parisa Gamblen. She does the astrology of dreams. And when I was speaking to her when we met at a conference back in March, I learned that she has identified patterns in her clients who have specific themes of dreams that vary based on the Zodiac season that we're in. And I just thought, oh my gosh, how interesting. We have different dreams based on where the sun is. So, of course, I thought, let's bring her on and talk about it. So here we are. I hope you enjoy Parisa as much as I do and enjoy the interview. I have to say, I think this is absolute beautiful timing because I just pulled the chart for right now. And Neptune is on the ascendant.
Oh,
which is perfect.
This is amazing.
This is perfect. And
yes.
And the moon phase that we are in right now. So we're recording on Thursday, the 15th, as the moon keeps waning down. We're in the balsamic phase of the moon, which is a wrap up of old chapters. And Neptune, which is really the planet we're honoring here today, is at 29 degrees and 45 minutes. And Neptune is going to leave Pisces for good for our lifetime on January 26th. So literally in 10 days. And so while we are recording and talking about Neptune in the balsamic phase of the moon, and Neptune is in the last degrees, this is just the absolute perfect energy to be talking about Neptune in our dreams.
Absolutely. It's beautiful that it's rising up in the skies, and it's wonderful. It's my favorite planet. It's retrograde in my chart, and it allows me to really ponder upon it and really take it in.
I love it. So it's your favorite planet. That's not a surprise since you are a dream consultant, dream interpreter.
I wouldn't call it a dream interpreter. I would call it a dream analyst or a dream consultant, because to interpret a dream is usually to put an end to it, whereas what I try to do is to honor the dream, to allow the person to really take it in and understand the messages of the subconscious, but also to keep the dream alive so that you can take actions in your real life in order to get the benefit of the message. Like, you got the message, but what are you going to do about it? So it's keeping the dream alive. So that's why I like a dream analyst or a dream consultant.
I love it. Well, I should probably back up and first off say hello and welcome to the Astrology with Elisa podcast. Why don't you just take a minute or two and introduce yourself?
Okay, so hello everyone. I am Parisa and I'm a dream analyst. Thank you ever so much for having me on your podcast today.
Yes, it's awesome to have you. So awesome. You're my very first guest.
Thank you. It's wonderful. We're both Aries, and I love being on your podcast as a first guest. Ever since we met in the astrology summit, it was just such a wonderful honor to meet you. And you saying that you're starting a podcast, I'm like, the world needs to know about the correlation between dream world and astrology, because astrology really affects us in our deep psyche, and dreams come from our deep psyche. So it's a pattern that I have noticed over the years, and I just want everyone to know about it. I'm so passionate about it.
I love that. So tell me, how did you start getting really interested in dream interpretation?
So I used to dream quite vividly as a child. And I always knew that there was this element of importance to it. So I would ask family members about it, especially my granddad, and I would journal, write down my dreams, and somehow within the dream world, I would get messages of exactly what dreams meant. And just pondering about it, I mean, anyone can do it. Just by journaling your dreams over time, you suddenly get to know the language of your dreams. They speak to you in a picture metaphor, but once you put these picture metaphors into words, they start to really speak to you. So it's always been a passion, but I realized that you can actually get formally educated and certified in it in 2011 with Neptune ingressing into Pisces being at its most glorious. And so I started my certification and I started doing it more and more.
That is wild that you officially got started doing this professionally when Neptune came into Pisces for the first time.
Yes.
In 2011. I've been actually really aware of that cycle because Neptune spends 14 years in a sign. And I mean, I have my own kind of little bookend chapters of my life that I've been identifying, with when Neptune went in and now what's happening as Neptune's moving on into Aries. But that's wild that Neptune always having been your favorite planet and Neptune ruling dreams and the dream world. And that was when you started doing this professionally. And here you are talking about it, bringing it out into the world on a bigger scale as Neptune is about to go into Aries, kind of finishing out that cycle, taking it to the next level.
I know. And I hadn't even really taken note of that until just a few days ago when you mentioned. So Neptune went into Pisces in 2011. And I went, oh, that is an important year for me. That's when I started getting certified. So it is a beautiful end because I am in business IT. That's what my formal education was. And then as of April, as Uranus moved over my MC, I got laid off. And so I went, I'm going to do dreams for my life, for living. So this chapter ending and the new beginning of this is brilliant for me.
Yeah. And just to kind of contextualize that in case anybody's listening and they're not quite sure, well, what would that mean? Uranus coming over your MC. Your MC is your midheaven. It's the very top point in your chart. It's the career angle and how you go out into the world. And Uranus is sudden changes, shifts, things you don't see coming. It can be excitement and brilliance, but it can also be surprise and good or bad. And here, when Uranus is coming right over your midheaven and suddenly your job is gone, that's sometimes what Uranus will do when it's in that specific place. So that's wild. And actually, what a great, it's always later in hindsight, right? That things, you realize what the blessing was in the shock, but that's great. So now here you are doing this full time, and that's wonderful. So one of the things that you said to me that got me really excited was that you identify patterns in dreams. And because what I do all the time is I'm identifying planetary patterns and energies as they show up in real life. And so I'm noticing visible day to day when we're awake patterns, and you're identifying while we're sleeping patterns. And I just thought, how cool. And one of the things you said to me was that you noticed that the dreams change and shift. The types of dreams your clients have change based on what zodiac season we're in, where the sun is. So
absolutely,
maybe take me through that. And you tell me, would it make more sense to start with the season that we're in right now? Like here we are towards the end of Capricorn season. Would you feel better starting there and then going through the zodiac that way? Or do you want to just start with Aries and go through? We can do whatever you want.
We can do it with the season that we're in. I think it would make more sense so that people are aware of what's happening right now. So originally, when I noticed it, it was a Pisces season, obviously with the Neptune already in Pisces. It was 2017 then. And everyone had dreams that were beyond time and space. So, for example, I would go through a dream for myself. It was a dream where I was in my childhood home in Iran. I was like a 13-year-old, but I knew that I was married. I knew my husband. And as I looked out the window, I saw that I'm in the street of my current house in Vancouver, Canada. And so it's just beyond time and space. So my age is 13, it's beyond time and the space of my house in Iran being in Vancouver, Canada, basically means that the belief system, the beliefs that I formed as a 13-year-old in my parental home are affecting my current life and how they are affecting my current life. A house always affects the way that the street is, right? So that and all the other dreams from the clients that were coming in, being beyond time and space, I was going, this is such a Piscean energy here. And so that's when I understood the pattern. And then going back, because there's lots of journals being done with other clients as well, going back, I'm like, oh my God, look, every time there's a stellium, especially when there is a new moon in there, the moon is involved in there as well. Moon being our emotions and our feelings. There is obviously a theme here. So I'm happy to start with Capricorn, which is, my goodness, there's so many planets in Capricorn right now that all our dreams are being affected. The themes that I'm noticing with Capricorn is duties and responsibilities. I mean, especially with the revolution in Iran and the crown prince stepping up to his responsibilities and duties. That's something that has come up quite a lot in dreams. There is also a theme of running out of time. So a sense of urgency in your dreams, and you sometimes get messages from a wise old man. So in your dream, you see your granddad or a random old man that's got like a white beard or white long hair, and you just kind of go, and there was this weird old man in my dream. And I'm like, oh, okay, that'll be Saturn.
Yeah, I was just thinking. So, especially when you said urgency and I'm running out of time, because Capricorn is ruled by Saturn, and those are Saturn words. Saturn is the timekeeper. It's all about the structure, organization, time, be on time, be responsible. And the old man figure, that is very Saturn. So that's really interesting. So you find that a lot of your clients in Capricorn season, which actually I was just thinking when this is going to be live, we will have been fresh into Aquarius season, the day that I'm going to post this, but that's okay. So the last few weeks, if people can think back, if anybody remembers their dreams from the last few weeks, I wonder if people might have had urgency around time or a weird old man popping in to tell them something wise.
Yes,
Wow.
exactly. And thinking about their like a soul purpose. I really need to be doing this. Or if you haven't done the things that you need to do, then you would have found it really hard to go to sleep.
Got it,
So
which makes
with that
sense.
energy.
Because Saturn will bring either rewards for a job well done or
Yeah.
stress if you haven't done what you're supposed to do. It's funny, I was actually reflecting back myself. It's taken me a while to fall asleep. I don't remember my dreams, but I know that that has been on my mind the last few weeks, is all of the things I need to accomplish, which is very
Yes.
Capricornian.
Yes, it is. It is
Yeah.
very Capricornian energy. The other thing that I've noticed in the past couple of weeks is people are dreaming of the Neptune, Saturn conjunction. Something that I had a dream about 2 nights ago is I was a captain of a ship, like a big cruise liner, and I'm going through this tiny canal that is like a European canal. They're very, very thin. And I was impressed with myself that I was able to go through this very thin canal and navigate this huge ship. But in the same time, the waters were ice, and I was breaking icy waters to go through. And I'm like, I'm really impressed with this. And so the
Yeah.
ice being the Saturn,
Saturn. Yep.
and navigation being Saturn, but also navigating a ship is very Neptunian, and through waters is very Neptunian. And also going from 2025, where you needed to shed a lot of things, and then going through this thin tunnel where you really got to shed anything that is excess into 2026, where all the opportunities lie. That dream was just, that was such a Saturn Neptune conjunction in my sign. But I'm sorry that I'm talking about dreams
No.
as I
You
go
should.
through,
Yes.
but I'm just trying to give the listeners a little bit of
Context.
taste of what dream
Examples.
work is.
Yes. No, I love
So
that. And so actually taking that one step further, can you apply that to something that's going on in your life right now that you need to work on?
yes, so something that I have been really, really worried about is, am I prepared? There is always fears of, am I good enough to be taking this full on? It's a huge responsibility to be saying something about somebody's life, or do this or do that, giving any kind of advice. It really does come from the dream, not me. But I am the one translating it and saying it. And so, in that sense, I feel the weight of the responsibility. And I sometimes want to back up and just put a bag on my head and go, I'm not here. So,
Right.
with all the fears that I have been facing, that dream just kind of said, yeah, you don't always know how you're steering the ship, and sometimes you're impressed with yourself, but you're doing it and you're doing it right. So this is what you need to do. Trust your instinct, go forward.
I love
Yeah.
it. That's
That's what
really
I
cool.
took from my dream.
Well, I like it. And I think you should trust yourself. That's good.
Thank you.
So let's talk about Aquarius, because that is the next 4 weeks that everybody is in. What types of dreams do you typically notice your clients having in Aquarius
So
season?
Uranus and Saturn are the rulers of Aquarius. And with Uranus being so sudden and Saturn being cold, I have a lot of I was skiing dream. So
Oh,
a lot
interesting.
of people are, maybe they are skiing, and as a result that comes through, but it's never by accident. I'm sure they were also doing many things during this time, like drinking coffee or being with their children. But it's while I was skiing, and it clicks in my mind, okay, this is something that is, there is a structure that needs to come in, schedule that needs to come in, and it needs to come in fast or sudden. The
Okay.
dreams do switch from one place to another, like lightning with the Uranus theme. So they would go, yeah, I was dreaming that I was in this place, and then it suddenly switched to me being in a basement, right? So it
Okay.
suddenly switches. The dreams are very, I don't know why they are Lilith in nature. So they are
Okay.
very defiant, but
Got
it
it.
is also a Uranus energy. But it's like, I am no longer going to put up with this. I am not going to be doing that again. Or I'm going to do as I like, the dream.
That's also
So
Aquarian energy. I mean, Aquarian energy is rebellious. It's a
it
little,
is.
defiant. It's independent. It all fits. Lilith in there fits. So you actually notice themes based almost, because twice now you've talked about the ruling planet. So you really see the themes coming even from the planetary energy more so than the sign itself.
Yes. Yeah,
which actually makes
absolutely.
sense because when the sun is in a specific sign, if you're looking at the chart, you look to, okay, well, where's that ruler? What is it doing? And that gives you some information about how to interpret the sun. So that's
Yes.
interesting that, okay, so
Yeah.
Aquarius, because of the Uranus influence, that is a season where you have quick shifts in the dreams.
Yeah. The other thing
Interesting.
is being in service to something larger than yourself is another theme that I've noticed. I think that goes back to being in service to something, but much larger than yourself, which
Which is
is,
also very Aquarian. Aquarian is
yeah.
all about the greater good of the community at large.
Hmm.
So if it's good for everybody, then it's good for me. That's Aquarian energy at its
Yeah.
best. So that
Yeah.
makes sense that the dreams would have that vibe. Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
All right. So you talked a little bit about Pisces already, but
Yeah.
let's just do a quick Pisces
A
rundown. What?
quick Pisces rundown would be dreams that are the most weird to the dreamer themselves. So a lot, like most of the time when we're in Pisces season, people call me and they're like, "You're never gonna understand this. This is just beyond me." But this is the dream I had. So it's really out there,
Mm-hmm.
really out of even their own imagination. Like my brain could not have got this, but it's also very much beyond time and space. So something that doesn't belong in that location is there, like you being 13 and also your husband being present
Got
and that
it.
kind of thing. So it's really beyond time and space and everything's warped.
Got it. Okay, that makes sense. And that makes sense because Pisces is ruled by Neptune, but also Pisces, before Neptune was discovered, was ruled by Jupiter. So do you find a Jupiterian influence as well with the dreams in Pisces season, or
I
more Neptune dominant?
The place where the Jupiter comes in, I find in these Pisces dream is that it is about long-term goals. These dreams are not usually about what to do about your day-to-day things.
Okay.
It's what to do about your mental health in general or your life path in general,
Okay.
right? But
Mm-hmm.
that is the only element of Jupiter that I see in it,
Okay.
the
The
long-term
bigger
goals and
picture.
bigger picture. Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. So it's very, very weird, warped displays in your brain of big picture goals and mental
Yeah.
state. Okay. All right.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
The That takes us to Aries dreams.
yes, let's hear
Now,
Aries dreams.
um, it's where you're called to be brave.
Yep, that makes
That
sense.
is with Mars ruling Aries, I feel that a lot of the dreams that comes to me is talking about where do I need to take risks, trust, be brave, and just move. It's the action. And it is one of those dreams that will have like a whole list of to-do points. So now that I've had this message, I've got this list of to-do points. And maybe perhaps that list of to-do points, it comes when they are with me, right? So perhaps that is the energy of the environment that we're getting, that it is very action orientated. And so now I need to do this and I need to do that. It's usually about starting something new.
Yeah.
Oh, that's another one, to be more assertive. So
Mm-hmm.
I am around a lot of Piscean people, and they're very soft, kind, gentle people. And
Yes, they are.
around Aries time, most of what I see is for them a call to be more assertive and let their voices be heard and not be kind to a point where they're sacrificing themselves.
Yep, that makes sense.
So being more assertive, direct. honest, or the dreams are very direct and honest. And it doesn't care whether you like it or not.
No
It would just,
sugarcoating. You're going to dream what you're going to
no.
dream.
And if it's like a point of trauma that it needs to bring up, it's not going to sugarcoat it. So it might come out in a nightmare. Your heart's beating, you're jolting out of sleep with that dream. So it is cruelly honest, these dreams, when it comes to showing subconscious issues and traumas. And where are you being called to take a more leadership actions? So another dream I am allowed to talk about is when I was very new with making our home with my husband. I already had a son, and we were just making home and trying to establish our roles. And it was around Aries time. And he had a dream in which, once analyzed, it's like he's going to have to take a more assertive leadership role with my child as a father figure. And so that's the kind of dreams that comes. You kind of see your calling. Okay, I need to be a leader here, and I need to guide at this point in time.
Cool. And what's actionable? That's
what's
cool.
actionable. Yeah.
That's a good, yeah.
So should we move to Taurus?
Yes, let's do Taurus. Yes. Is that when you're dreaming about, eating chocolates and lush blankets and beautiful scenery? I mean, that feeling all of the wonderful Venus things. I'm just guessing now. I'm starting to notice your pattern.
Yes, absolutely. And also where it's lacking in your life. So it's kind of asking you, where is self-love lacking? And really showing it to you, again, sometimes in a nightmare fashion, that you're not looking after yourself. Dreams of medicine comes in few times through the year, but I find this is one time that dreams of medicine does come, like earth medicine, like someone telling you in your dream that you need to put dried figs in water and then drink the water that is from that to heal your cough. Things like that. I've had a few people dream of what their medication is at this point in time. From the earth, not like, inject yourself with Manjaro and get thinner.
Right. Right. Not that.
Not that. It's more a earth medicine for healing of the body. And also, where is self-love and self-care missing in your life? And ways, dreams will always give you solutions.
Got it. So you'll have a clue in there.
Yeah.
So give me an example. If I'm having this dream relative to not having enough self-care, what might I see as the solution?
It would be something that suits your life. So for some people, it's just to be in water, like take a bath, or when you're in a shower, take extra long in there. For some people, it's just staying still and reading and taking time for yourself. But for others, it would be more action orientated, like take a dance class or go to the gym. And I think that it's very much to do with where your Mars is as well, but also your lifestyle and what your preferences are. Self-care means so much to so many people that I do look at people's charts when they come in and I find something like that. Then I go, well, let me see where your Mars is.
Because that's where they'll go to take action for their self-care. Even though Taurus, that's a Venus-ruled sign, you still look to their Mars to see how they can act on it. Is that kind of a theme? Do you look at where their Mars is in terms of how to take action on whatever it is they've dreamed?
Not for everything, but if it's something that I identify as, for example, Mars, I look at it as, where do you recharge your batteries? And that's why I look at Mars. I am in an awake world where I can talk to them. Do you think exercise might help? And they're like, no, I hate the gym. I'm not going to say, well, your action is to start with just 5 minutes.
Right.
No, you kind of go, okay, what about dancing? And they're like, yeah, I like salsa. And I went,
Okay.
so what if we had like a few salsa dates with your husband?
Got it. And that's where you bring in the love and the Venus and the self-care.
Yeah, it's a two-way conversation where you're going, it's saying that you need self-love, you need time for yourself. How would you like to do that? Some people just come out with it and they say, I am dying to have like 2 hours to myself to go to a Pilates class. And then I don't need to look at their birth charts, but some people are just like, what do I even do? What does that even mean? And then I can give them a little bit of guidance using that birth chart.
I love it. Tell me about dreams in Gemini season.
So Gemini season, I don't tend to get any nightmares. They are so friendly, Gemini dreams. All the other seasons, they tend to have nightmares. Everything does come in like with emotion. Whereas Gemini season, it's very friendly. And if it isn't, it's about a issue you're having in your relationships because it tends to be a time that we socialize more and you kind of say yes to a lot. And so it highlights the issues that you might be having because people around us are basically a mirror of our frequency. And sometimes we don't like what we see in the mirror. And so that is the time that these little issues might come up. But I find Gemini season quite friendly dreams, and the messages coming in from the psyche are very light, not so deep, just day to day. Enjoy the Gemini season before Scorpio hits. But
Yeah. We'll get
that's
there.
where the deep things come in. But Gemini season, it is more, and you get ideas, innovations in Gemini dreams. So if you are trying to do something and you go to sleep, meditating on it, by meditating, I don't mean like full on meditation, just asking the question before you go to sleep. Your brain works wonders in finding creative problem solving in your dreams.
I love that, especially because Mercury is the ruler of Gemini and Mercury is fast and quick and light. And Mercury really just holds up the microphone to whatever he's with. You know, if he's with another planet, that's the vibe that he's giving. But when you said you might have an idea come to you in the dream, a great idea, that makes sense because Mercury is our thoughts, our communication. So maybe pay attention in Gemini season. Do you have any bright ideas coming up in your dreams?
Absolutely. I mean, Paul McCartney was talking about how a lot of his songs came in through dreams. He didn't say when, so I don't know whether it was Gemini season or not, but a lot of artists, painters, writers get amazing ideas through their sleep and through their dreams. So always pay attention to the
Cool.
ideas that are coming in.
I love it.
Cancer.
Yes, Cancer.
So with Cancer's ruler being
The moon.
the moon and Cancer being representative of home and early childhood, I find that early childhood dreams are on the forefront in Cancer season. So if there is something that has happened to you as a child, things you haven't seen, you didn't see at that point, or you need to work through, those are the theme of the dreams, I find,
Okay. Got
in
it.
the early summer.
Got it. And you had also mentioned, because I've spoken on this podcast before about, how my grandmother from beyond, she's passed away over 20 years ago. She comes to me in dreams periodically. And the most recent one that was very, very vivid was Scorpio season, which we can talk about when we get there. But I think you had mentioned that oftentimes you also see ancestors, especially on the maternal side, coming through dreams
Yes.
in Cancer season.
Yes, that's very true. You do get messages from or connections with your maternal ancestors or grandmothers in general. They will come through, but there is a link to maternal grandmother in the Cancer season. You're carrying their DNA And through that DNA, there is cycles that get identified. And obviously it is in your early childhood as well. So you go back there and you start digging and go, oh, my mom suffered from that as well. And then, yes, there would be dreams of your messages from your ancestral line as well during Cancer season.
Which makes sense because Cancer in the natural wheel rules the fourth house, and the fourth house is that ancestral link as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
And the other thing is sometimes people dream of purchasing a home. Like sometimes dreams are very deep, like psychological, what we talked about. And sometimes dreams are just
what's on your
about
mind.
What is on your mind. I mean, when we were thinking about buying the house that we are in right now, I wasn't even really thinking about moving. We were renting a place. We weren't really thinking about moving, but I had a dream about a friend of mine who's a real estate agent, but we used to work in a jewelry shop together. And I had a dream. I was in the jewelry shop and she was just offering me these amazing, beautiful necklaces. And I woke up and I'm like, we're buying a house. I know it's because a gem is basically an investment, a beautiful thing that you buy. It's good for your future. So
got it. I was going to say, walk me through how you got from gems and jewelry to house. That's your symbology.
Absolutely. It's all about learning the language of your dream. So because that friend is now a real estate agent, what she is offering me could never be a gem. What she offers me could only be a house.
Okay.
So I called her up and I said, Alice, do you have any good opportunities for purchasing a home?
Because she was the person that was in your dream with the gems. Yeah. So that's how you knew that
I have to call her.
I see. So that's an example of how you take action based on something that's in your dream. And the way you, having been trained, can interpret her investment, her gem is really correlated to a house for you.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you are ever having problems interpreting the dreams, I am more than happy to help clients. That's what I do for a living.
Yes.
So yeah, I am more than happy for any of your listeners if they are stuck with, oh, I had this dream and I feel like it's an important dream. But what is it saying? It's the picture metaphors. And what do I do about it? Yeah, absolutely. It would be a lovely opportunity for me to interpret and analyze their dreams.
Awesome.
So moving on to Leo.
Leo. Yes.
Leo ruled by the sun.
Yes.
So it's about following your passion and your heart's desire. The dreams are very dramatic. Like it could be just a tiny little cut on your finger, but it's going to bleed all over the place. So the dreams get really dramatic and drama-like, story-like. Like you go, usually I just remember this tiny flash of my dream, but this one was a whole full-on story. Okay. It was a movie.
Got it.
It's a more drama. It's more dramatic. It's about pursuing your dreams. It's just going to highlight that again. If you're not following your dreams, it's really going to bother you. And it is also creative problem solving. This is another time where there is a lot of creative problem solving in your sleeping mind.
All right. So if there's something that's been going on in your head and in your awake life, then Leo season is a time, because the sun and Leo rule the fifth house in the natural wheel of creativity and self-expression. That is where this is coming from, where the creativity comes into play to think outside the box and get creative with solutions.
Yes, that's right.
Okay.
One more thing that I think I missed in this is there's a few times during the year where there is a lot of dreams of, I'm not a good mom. I've got a whole lot of guilty feelings about being a mom. And I think a lot of moms go through that with the way that we need to work and manage life and manage parenting. A lot of dreams of, am I a good parent? Because the fifth house rules children as well, I find that a lot of guilty dreams come out during this time as well.
Okay, interesting. That makes sense. When you're feeling the weight of the world on your shoulders of what am I doing wrong as a mom or a dad, or what am I doing right? What's going on with my children and what did I cause? You're right. We
Yes.
all do that. We all do that.
Yes.
And we're all, I would wager to best, we are all very, very good parents, but
We're
we
all
are,
very, very good parents
we
to be
are,
thinking that
right,
way, to be so reflective.
right.
We are very good parents to be doing that.
But we do. We absolutely beat ourselves up. And that mom guilt, dad guilt, all of that guilt is real. So that's interesting. So maybe expect a little of that in Leo season relative
Yes.
to, because children are just top of mind.
Yes, absolutely. Another thing, themes on the Leo season is charity and generosity.
Yep.
So where are you being more than necessary generous? Where are you giving more than you should? Or where should you be more kind and more charitable
So maybe
and
these
more
would be
forgiving?
okay, and more forgiving. So maybe if somebody wanted to be intentional about their dreams and figuring out what's coming up for them when and take actions on them, then these would be the types of things to maybe pay attention to in each season. These are the themes that might be coming up in each zodiac sign. If I'd like to try to be intentional and work through some of this is what I should have on my mind maybe as I go to sleep.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I had a client who was having dreams of a lot of children all dragging at her legs. She was trying to do something and go forward,
And
and
couldn't.
there were just lots of children around her. And I was just like, have you ever thought about sponsoring a child or just giving breakfast to schools or something like that? And she goes, I have always thought about it and never done it. And once she did, she came back and said, it's like the money I give to schools for these breakfasts come back to me 10, 100 folds. And I don't know what it is about giving to charity, but it brings abundance. Leo being the abundant sun, the sign, and the sun being the abundant planet, that it would tell you in the dream where to be charitable as well.
Okay.
So it was the children, it's something to do with the kids that needed her attention for abundance to flow.
Cool.
So the universe has amazing ways.
Yes, I agree. You just got to look for the messages. Okay,
Exactly.
what about Virgo?
Virgos. So Virgos are more day-to-day issues. So you are learning something and then you would dream about it.
That
It's
makes sense.
practicing.
Oh my
It's
gosh.
practicing. Does it?
Yeah, I'm laughing because Virgo is also ruled by Mercury. And whereas Gemini is ruled by Mercury and it's just gathering all of the information, what Virgo then does with is Virgo analyzes it and overanalyzes it to death and makes the spreadsheet and does the flow chart. And really, if you want to go down a rabbit hole of how everything works, so it makes perfect sense to me that in Virgo season, whatever it is they were working on during the day, they need to continue working on all through the night.
Analyzing it. Yeah.
And
analyzing it over the night and putting it into their long-term memory.
And when I say they, I mean all of us, right? Because this is Virgo season. So we all are dreaming in this way during this season because we all get these little vibes from wherever the sun is. But yeah, that is the mark of Virgo as a sign is that attention to detail in the analysis. So that's just so funny you say that they continue or people continue on in their dreams on their projects.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Even in the Virgo full moon, where it's not Virgo season, it's just a full moon in Virgo, we wake up exhausted. We're just like, we've done so
Mm.
much processing in our
Wow.
dreams that we wake up exhausted. So people reporting that I'm just so exhausted.
It's
And it
funny.
is summer, like in Virgo season is summer. And yes, you don't have as much sleep because you don't get much dark time during the day. And there is a lot of activities jam packed. And so you could put it to that people are waking up exhausted. But I honestly think that people are going through everything. Now, you can't explain that during the Virgo full moon, which is in a Pisces season,
Yeah,
right?
Pisces. Yeah. Yeah. Well, you know
So,
what? That's going to be coming up next month. So I'm going to mark down on my calendar to pay attention if I'm really tired in that Pisces full
yes,
moon or the Virgo full moon in
absolutely.
Pisces season.
And you know, the themes that come up during that full moon in Pisces is I've got to clean the house and reorganize everything. And it's suddenly a time for cleaning and reorganization of everything so that you can start the astrological year on a clean
Ah,
slate.
that makes sense. You're talking about starting the astrological new year, starting with 0 Aries,
Yes,
which comes at the end of March. And so that Virgo
yes,
full moon is right at the tail end of the astrological year to clean everything out, bring everything to completion, to then have a fresh start. That's interesting.
yes.
Okay.
It is. And since we are Persian and we move with the astrological calendar, there is a full month or even at least 2 weeks of clearing and cleaning everything out, which I guess in the Western society they call it spring clean,
Yeah.
but it is Virgo's full moon that really brings us into I need to clean the back of my fridge and all my drawers. Just
Yes.
take them all out, fold them up again, and put them back in. And what is it that no longer serves me that can go to charity? So bags and bags of things usually get delivered at the local charity shop.
So this
So
actually brings up an interesting point, which we'll continue on through the signs, but we've been really talking mostly about the time of year that the sun is in each zodiac sign and the things that we dream about during the time that the sun is in these places in the zodiac,
mhm,
but also the moon, because of course we talked about Neptune ruling the dream
mhm,
world, but the moon is also very, very closely in tune to the dream world and the unknown.
yes,
The moon is kind of like the communication between Neptune and, the real world and all of us. And
yes.
so when the moon is in certain signs, maybe especially at full moon time when it's really,
Yeah,
really, really bright, or is it
it
also
is.
new moon
It,
time?
it's well, when the new moon is there, the sun's there as well.
Oh, that's true.
But the full moons,
The full moon.
especially a full moon that has other planets talking to it as well, like giving it a little bit more energy. Like if it
Mm-hmm.
was that full moon in Cancer with Jupiter there as well, it's going to speak louder than a full moon that is just the only planet around that is moon, and it's not getting any conversation to any other planet. It's not going to be as important.
Got it.
I would look to the stellium of the sun and where all the other planets are, but sometimes there's this full moon that is very powerful full moon, and
Yes.
that's when those type of dreams come and
So, for
surface.
context, for an example here, moving forward in the next 4 weeks, where we're going to be in Aquarius season. So,
Yeah.
there's going to be a Leo full moon.
Hmm.
So, in the next few weeks, we may, around that Leo full moon part, we may have some of these Leo style dramatic dreams,
Yeah.
perhaps parent guilt on something
Yeah.
related to children or charity, whatnot.
Yeah.
Some of the things you just discussed about Leo, we might
Yeah.
see in Aquarius season during the Leo full moon.
Absolutely. And also it's going to be maybe a peek into the future where Jupiter is going to be moving into Leo, as well as the North Node, South Node axes are going to move.
Yep.
So a sneak peek into next summer.
Interesting.
Yeah, it is. Like combining dreams and astrology is very interesting to me.
Yes, I know. Me too. That's why I wanted to have you on. Yes. So, okay. So that makes sense, Virgo, with all the cleanup. Okay. How about Libra?
Before I go to Libra, this is another point where medicine comes up.
Ah, that makes sense. I was actually thinking that when you mentioned that in Taurus season.
Yeah, medicine comes up in Virgo, but it's more medical medicine, I find, than just the earth medicine. Yes, there is earth medicine, but dreams of, oh, I went to a doctor and there was an X-ray out on there and there was something wrong with my thyroid. And then I'll just go, well, have you had your thyroid tested? You know, sometimes it's as literal as that, or sometimes it's like, my voice wasn't coming out. And I go, okay, have you had your thyroid checked? Everything's okay. And so it's more medical.
Okay.
Doctor medicine.
Doctor medicine versus the Taurus season medicine is
which
more
is earth medicine.
Plant-based and herbal-based. And
yes.
Alternative medicine.
Yes, absolutely. All of those themes come to Virgo as well. But I find dreams of hospitals are often in the theme of Virgo. Yes.
That's also interesting you say that, because hospitals actually belong in the 12th house, right? In terms of when we go around in the natural wheel and what they stand for, which is ruled by Pisces. And Pisces is opposite Virgo, because Virgo is naturally 6th house. Pisces is naturally 12th house. So it's on that same axis. So I wonder now, in light of what you just said about the full moons, I wonder if maybe these hospitals are happening during the Pisces full moon in Virgo season.
Thank you. Thank you for pointing that out. Now I need to go back into my journal.
Yeah, and find out. Yeah, because it's all one axis. And I talk about that even when I do chart readings with my clients. I was talking to somebody just last night actually about this, and how when a certain planet is touched, but the lunation is on the opposite end of it, well, it's all the same axis.
Yeah.
It's both. So,
exactly.
So that's interesting. I'm glad you mentioned that.
Ancestral links also come down in form of wisdom. Yes. Wisdom from ancestors also come down in Virgo season. So I don't know if that is misplaced here, but another note that I have here is wisdom or advice or letters being given. Or I had a phone call and I picked up the phone and it was granddad or grandma. It's wisdom from ancestors also come up in Virgo season.
Wow.
Don't know. Maybe it is. I've seen Virgo being attached to Virgin and the witches and the wisdom and the ability to communicate with the other world. Perhaps it's that, but I don't know. I have had dreams of ancestors Virgo season as well.
Ah, so cool.
So, and it's so close to Scorpio season.
Yeah, you're getting there. Well, don't forget Libra. Libra's in the middle.
Absolutely. So Libra energy. So it's where you're out of balance. It would highlight where is it that you need to put balance into things. Going back into Taurus, it is very Venusian, like sacred feminine.
Like, what do I need to feel good is in Taurus, the other Venus ruled sign.
Exactly. How do I create safety for myself as well?
Safety, that's the Taurus word, safety and security. That makes sense.
Yeah.
So then Libra, it's different in that now it's more about balance.
It's more about creating that balance to feel safe.
Okay.
Right?
So you're still working on the safety themes.
Yes.
But in a balancing way. With other people or just life in general?
With other people and with what you do. So if you are perhaps paying too much attention to home and not enough to work, then there's like all these guilty feelings coming up that, oh, I dreamt about my boss finding out that, right?
Got it. And then you know that that's where the balance issue is.
Yes. Or if you are paying too much attention to health, then it comes up with, all these doctors trying to operate on you, just telling you where it is that you are putting far too much attention on or lacking attention.
Got it.
And it's also about not suppressing your truth. You know how Libras sometimes they just go with the flow and they go, oh, okay, we'll do that. But
They don't
but
want to
they
make
don't
waves.
they don't want to make waves, and they are very uncomfortable, and they are ignoring their self. And so it's really not self-love, be just going with the flow. So that is like, don't suppress your truth. But where you do suppress your truth, it's going to come up in your dreams.
That makes sense completely because
Yeah.
Libras do have a tendency to, in the efforts to create fairness and make sure everybody is happy and that everything is all going well, sometimes they can do too much people
Yeah.
pleasing and ignore what they need themselves. And so in
Hmm.
Libra season, we all tend to do a little bit more of that because of the sun's influence. And that is the type of themes that might come up.
Yeah. And any nightmares that comes up here, I've noted that it's because of an urgent decision that needs to be made. So it's calling them to make a decision in the dream.
Got it.
And
Because they're always weighing options. That's a very Libra thing. So if there's any stress in a dream with a nightmare, it's
yeah,
about decide. Okay.
must choose. You have to make a decision here. You can't just walk in this in between phase. You gotta
Got
go either
it.
that way or that way.
Got it. That makes
There's no
sense.
gray.
Nope. No gray.
Yep.
Okay.
Yes. And
That makes
finally,
sense. Finally, Scorpio. Well, we still have Sagittarius, but I know
um,
you've been wanting
it's
Scorpio. What
yes,
happened
we
in
are.
Scorpio season with Dream?
So, man, it's so dramatic and traumatic. It's a lot of, um, in dreams, when we have nightmares, it's basically attaching a vision to an emotion so that you remember it. A lot of people who don't remember their dreams will remember their dreams during Scorpio season because it's a very highly strung, highly emotional thing. Like emotions are attached to this vision, so that even though the vision itself is not that scary, it comes up as very, very scary for them. So
Mm,
I find that a lot of deep rooted traumas that you just kind of pushed down and didn't want to look at, especially coming in from your early childhood, is going to come up. If people have been sexual molestation or abuse, even verbal abuse, all of those come out in a much more dramatic, like you relive things, even more painful than the time that it actually happened in your
mm,
dreams. And it's just so much more dramatic. Like if someone said something that you didn't like when you were young, you suddenly now see yourself in this big wheel in the center and the wheels turning and you don't know where to look. And then there is faces all over the place and they all say the same thing. And then you
mm,
wake up like, it's dark.
dark.
It's so much more dramatic
Mm,
saying that that thing that that person said really hurt you. I
mm,
know you putting on a brave face. I know you're just thinking, oh, it was just a, grumpy old man and I'm so much bigger. But down inside, it really hurt that child within and it needs healing. So it requires attention. Things that in your
mm,
past require attention are all going to come up in the Scorpio season. It's just going to resurface.
Mm.
And it's where someone has taken away your power or your voice. And someone, you were trying to say something and, someone said, you don't know. Like, that was a wrong answer.
That makes sense because when we're going back over the ruling planet, Pluto rules Scorpio season, and Pluto is all
Yes.
about power
Power.
and where you keep your power and where you give it away. It's all of those same, where you're most vulnerable is also where you can come into your power, but it's
Mm-hmm.
all power and deep themes. So that makes sense.
Yeah. Altogether heavy nightmare type dreams during Scorpio
Mm.
season. People need a lot of care.
Mm-hmm. 100%.
Yeah. And then can we move to Sagittarius?
Yes, especially after Scorpio. Sag always corrects the Scorpio.
Absolutely. Yes, it does. It does. Much more lighthearted dreams about your soul's purpose and long-term goals. A lot of people go back to their schools or universities. The
Ah,
theme of the dreams are very, so I was back in my old school, or
okay.
so I was in this university dorm when this, and this happened. So when you are the environment that you are in a dream, it always says, what is it that we are the theme of the dream? So the theme of the dream is something that you are learning or need to learn. And that's
Mm,
not always happening in a school or university environment. Like, if you need to learn to balance your life, you don't go to school for it, right?
right.
But whatever you're learning and going through at that point in time, it's a learning
Okay.
phase. You're going to dream of it in a university environment.
Okay. Well, and that makes sense. And Jupiter rules Sagittarius. And in the natural wheel, it's the ninth house. And that is the house of higher education and expansion
Mm-hmm.
and learning. So that makes sense that you would have school type university themes in
Yes.
Sagittarius
Yeah.
season.
Yeah, absolutely. And long-term soul purpose. I've had so many calls to be a dream worker during Sagittarius seasons. It's like, you're ready, just do it. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's long-term goals as well, and how you serve others through this long-term goal.
I love that. So now that we've kind of gone through the whole zodiac, and we've also talked about how wherever the sun is brings a focus, and also, do you think dreams are heightened more during a new moon when the moon is there joining the sun? And then also we've talked about the full moon, or really, with the exception of the full moon bringing in the opposite sign and those dream themes, do you think that it's really at any point throughout the 30-day season where the sun is in a certain sign
Hmm.
is when you find those
I
themes?
Yeah, the moon ruling our emotions. So we dream all the time,
Yeah.
but I feel that more emotions are more heightened when there is a full moon and new moon.
So
So
maybe you might remember your dreams better
you
during
might
those times.
remember your dreams more during those times. But what I find is that a message will come through where you need to hear it, right? So it doesn't matter whether there is a lunation happening or not. Some people are just remembering their dreams every single night.
Mm,
And, important dreams will come to you in all sorts of different times.
that makes sense. So
Um,
then what would you say to people who say, "Oh gosh, I never remember my dreams. This is so cool. What a nice conversation, but I can't remember my dreams, so this isn't really going to be for me." How can people, or if somebody wants to remember a dream, but
yeah.
what kind of advice, what could people do to set the intention to remember a dream to then work with it?
Dreams are very ether in their nature. And so when you wake up with a alarm clock, and the moment you wake up, you're thinking, what day is it? What do I need to do? Do I need to have breakfast today or not? What meetings do I have? Suddenly it moves from this creative mind into a logical mind. And that shift in energy really does make the dreams go away. So waking up in a more natural way is going to be better for remembering dreams. Journaling is really important because if dreams are realizing that you are paying attention to them and it's important to you, then they have more tendency to put emotions in there so that you remember it, so that becomes more memorable, and you will get more messages as you are working with your dreams as well. The other thing that I would recommend, there's a book called The Power of Water by a Japanese researcher. I mean, he's been researching the power of water since the early 90s and taking photographs of the water crystals with words spoken into it or written on it.
I've heard of this.
After reading that book, The Power of Water, I've been trying this with a few clients that say, I would really like to start working with my dreams and understanding the messages of my subconscious mind, because I know that it's got a lot to say, but I can't remember it. If you put a glass of water in a glass container, I find is better, by your bedside. And before you go to bed, you send love and gratitude. Those are the two high frequency things that you can give your water to bless your water. So love and gratitude to your water, and just say to the water, could you please record my dreams? And in the morning, when I drink you, I will remember it. So that is something that I have tried, and it works for me, and it's worked for a few people, but it's not a formal study that I have done on this. But water holds information, and having a water by your bedside, drinking a little bit, going to sleep, and then reuniting that water that you have already drank with the rest of the water triggers your brain into something. And lastly, is when you are journaling, remember that dreams are alive. They are not something that happened in the past. They are alive in your mind because they came from your mind. And if your creative mind, as you are writing it, wants to put more to that story, then please, by all means, continue the dream and see where it takes you, because it's got something to say. Your mind has something to say about something. So please continue writing that story down.
It reminds me of, when you're a kid and you have those choose your own ending stories, or where you read a passage and then you can choose, you can go to either page 43 or page 58 for two different next steps of the story. I thought of that just now when you said this, because it's almost like we have the power in our minds to continue on the dream and have it carry through as a good dream, have it carry through as a bad dream. That's where we have the choice. And that's where the power of going towards the higher expression of the energy versus the lower expression. So many times as humans, we have, it's funny, I was talking to my son about this yesterday. We have bad brain talk sometimes when you're telling yourself bad things. You have better brain talk, same kind of thing. Like if you have the start of a dream and it could go either way, continue with the journal in the way that you want it to go. And then it's all about the power of intention to bring that to your life.
Absolutely. So your brain waves when you're awake and working is in beta, and then alpha brain waves is the bridge between the awake and the sleep, and theta and delta are your sleeping mind. For half an hour after you wake up, you're still in alpha. So you're still in that bridge. Yeah. And therefore, you have access to your theta brain. You have access. That's where you can create your reality. So Joe Dispenza talks about creating your reality by taking your brain into a meditative state of alpha and theta. Now, you are naturally, without doing anything, in alpha brainwave as you are waking up. So use that time to write down anything that comes into your brain, rather than checking your phone for, what messages I got, anything, for
anything, the
all sorts of things.
scrolling, all of the things, we immediately pick up our phone and look at it. So
Yeah.
that's an excellent tip for me specifically, because I struggle very much with shutting my brain down at any moment, whether it's to go to sleep at night or during the day. And I've talked to a lot of people about how I would love to start meditating, and I would love to, really start tapping deeper into my intuition and all of these things. And it's funny, my stepdaughter got me a book for Christmas all about psychic and how to do different things. And it talked about all these brain states that you just talked about. And it's just so funny because I'm like, well, yeah, but how am I going to get there? I can't slow myself down to get there. And
Your
you've just
body
given me this
does.
tip that in the first 30 minutes after I wake up, I'm already there. So just capture in those first 30 minutes whatever's on my mind.
Yes, absolutely.
Wow.
Journaling is a form of meditation. And there has been a study done about people writing down what they need to do for the day. They got one group to do it before they went to sleep, and one group to do it in the morning. As they woke up, they wrote down what they need to do in the day and measured their productivity. And they realized that the people who wrote it down before they went to bed are not only more productive during their day, but they also had a much better sleep.
Makes sense.
Because it's not on your mind. Your brain just kind of goes, okay, it's taken care of. Once
have a
you're
plan.
writing it, you've got a plan. Plus, during that sleep hours, you've had creative time to come up with a fine-tuned plan for your day. It's like when you start your day, you've also had time to not only think about it logically, but think about it in a more creative, problem-solving way of how you're going to carry these things out without remembering your dreams. You don't need to have remembered anything. Your brain has had time to digest and process. And then in the morning, you tend to do better. So people in the study tended to do better. So that's why I would advise that. So journaling before bed, journaling after bed, in the first hours of what came to you or what is present for you. And just ask yourself, how do I feel today? A simple question. And where do I feel it in my body? Perhaps I can't name my feeling, but I feel it all in my belly, or I feel it in tightness in my thighs. So that's one thing that I would say. The other thing would be if you are waking up from a dream that is disturbing, journaling and finding a ending that you prefer really helps. Just putting it to a side, because it's going to affect your entire day. That dream lingering of, I don't know, my husband cheated on me in his dream. So now in the wake world, I need to seek revenge.
Yeah, maybe it wasn't real.
I
Maybe
know.
don't. Yeah.
And so, but an alternative ending that you prefer. How do you prefer for this dream to have ended? So when you wake up from a dream that is not nice, contact a dream worker and also put an end to your dream. Write down, what would you like to have happened at the end of this story? It really helps.
I love it. I love how you said dreams are alive and just continue the creative process. That's perfect. So where can people find you if they want to reach out to you? Do you have contact information that I'll put in the show notes?
Absolutely. So Instagram is Parisa's Dream, and I will give you my email address so that people can get in touch.
Perfect. That's awesome. Is there anything else you think is important that we didn't touch on? I think we covered a lot. I'm going to be honest. We've covered so much.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We've covered so much. I feel that
Yeah.
we've covered a lot of the astrology, which is what I really want people to know about.
Well, me
My
too.
Leo. My Leo wants everyone to know about what's important to me.
That's right. That's right. And I'll tell you, I just think it's so funny. You and I, when we first met at that conference, and I was talking about how I was launching this podcast. This was 2 weeks before the solar eclipse. And then lo and behold, we speak and we connect and we find out that our birthdays are one day apart. We're a few
Yeah.
years apart, but my sun was being eclipsed and so was yours because they were
Yeah.
literally like within a degree of each other. And I
Yes.
just think it's so funny that here you and I just magnetized like zoop, to each other. And
Yes.
we've stayed in touch all year. And here
Yeah.
you are, my very first guest. You asked me at that conference, are you going to have guests? And I was like, oh my gosh, I haven't even figured out what I'm going to talk about in 2 weeks when I launch. But I was forcing myself to talk about how this podcast is coming, to force myself to do it and then figure out, talk about that Aries, ready, fire, aim. I was just firing before I aimed out my words for that podcast.
Yes.
And so it's just funny that I thought to myself, well, yes, of course, someday I'll have guests, but I've got to figure out, what do I want to talk about first? And so when I was ready to have guests, I reached out because you were the first one. And I said, well, it's only fitting. You're my
Thank
Aries
you.
soul sister, and you were eclipsed just like I was. And here we are,
Yeah,
the first
I know.
guest on my podcast.
It's absolutely amazing that it was back in March, and then in April, I had that Uranus going over my MC and my career. And so then I was just kind of urged into being brave and
Yes.
doing my ready fire and then aim
Yes.
way later.
That's right. The first person I ever heard say that, I have to give credit, it's Rick Levine. I'm sure if anybody's listening to my podcast, I'm sure you know who Rick Levine is. If not, Google it.
Yes.
He's awesome. But he's the one, he's got a lot of Aries. And he said that, and I'm like, gosh, I so get that.
So
That is
relates
so true.
to that.
Yeah. It just, you don't
Thank
think
you, Rick.
Oh, yeah. So, and here we are.
Thank you so much. It's been such a pleasure.
Ah,
Your podcasts are amazing, and they put
oh,
perspective into how I am feeling or how people are feeling. And suddenly you realize that, oh, it's this part of me. I mean, we might have our sun, Mercury, and moon and rising in different signs, but we all have all of that 12 energy within us. And
yeah.
so when there's a stellium in a certain sign, we feel that. And sometimes because we don't have any planets or any important points in that, it feels foreign. Oh, what the hell is wrong with me? Why am I like this? It's so uncharacteristic of me. But listening to your podcast always brings a perspective, and you go, I am playing with my, Virgo side. I am playing with my Cancer side right now. So thank you for bringing that perspective.
Oh, well, thank you. I really appreciate that. And really, today we're playing with Neptune and our Pisces side. And I am
Yes.
just, it's funny, I didn't plan it this way originally. When I reached out to you a few weeks ago, I wasn't even thinking ahead of exactly when we would schedule to record and then when we would schedule to have this drop. But it is such perfect timing. And that is what the universe does. We live out our astrological stories without realizing it sometimes. And the fact that we are sitting here celebrating such a Neptune vibe, talking about dreams, talking about what shows up when, and doing it in the very last degrees of when Neptune is in its favorite sign. I mean, we're not going to experience this Neptune and Pisces energy again in our lifetime. I mean, it's going to be over 100 years before Neptune comes back to Pisces. And so it will happen again. We won't be here for it. And I hope that what people can do with this episode, especially since it's going to air at the tail end of this Neptune season, is to then use some of these tips that you've given us and be more intentional to still pull into that Neptune, bring our dreams out into consciousness, and keep that strong Neptune energy alive as it's moving into Aries, which it's still going to be very strong and alive and wonderful, but it's in a totally different way. You know, this Neptune has been at its happiest and its strongest in Pisces. And so this is just a perfect way, I feel, to honor the last 14 years of our lives with Neptune in this chapter, as we now move on to a new Neptune and Aries chapter.
Absolutely. Yeah. We're very lucky to understand the astrology so that when universe gives us a sign like this, we see it and we go, oh, I'm being supported.
Yeah,
actually being supported in this thing that I'm doing. So I feel very lucky, or very fortunate to be able to see the signs.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. And
thank you.
And we'll talk again soon.
Absolutely. Thank you, my darling. Thanks.
All right. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Well, there you have it. That was Parisa and me unpacking the astrology of dreams. That was a lot of really good information, really good nuggets. And I hope you all enjoyed this as much as I did. This is one I'll have to sit with and think about and maybe unpack it a little bit more in a future episode. As always, I love and appreciate you all. Thanks again for listening. Take care, and I'll see you next time.